The situation in the United States is complex. As you know, we have a federal system, and we actually have three levels. We also have municipalities and cities within states, as the states and the country as a whole. At the national level, we're doing badly. We are really doing badly. A few exceptions are that the U.S. military, the Pentagon, is now probably the biggest purchaser of renewable energy technology in the country, if not the world. And they're moving to this because they've discovered in Afghanistan in particular that their fuel supply lines make them incredibly vulnerable. A very large percentage of the American casualties in Afghanistan have been in the protection of fuel convoys. And now they're getting rid of heavy batteries, replacing those with solar panels on the backpacks of soldiers, and it's transforming the way the military moves. So that's probably at the national level, that's probably the best thing that's happening. But the real action in the United States is at the state and municipal level. There are close to 1,000 mayors in the United States that have signed on to a global climate action plan. They signed on at Cancun last year. And others had signed on to various programs before that. I was at a meeting this fall in New York called Climate Week, and organized by the Climate Group and by Mayor Bloomberg. And Mayor Bloomberg announced that New York City had reduced its carbon dioxide emissions by 12% since 2005. That's really impressive. That's very impressive. There was an announcement there by General Electric that their eco-imagination products were the most were growing the most rapidly of any of their product lines. There was the world's largest real estate developer, Chinese, building more living units, housing units per year than anyone in the world, was there to say that he had, in the last year or two, adopted what in the U.S. we call the LEED standards for buildings, which are energy and materials and so on and so forth, and had adapted them to Chinese circumstances. And it is the end of this year, 2011, all of the housing units he built would be built to this standard. And that he had convinced the Chinese government to set this as a goal and a standard for the whole country. You don't read about this. You don't hear about it. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And he said when he came to the United States 20 years ago, he came to learn how to make money, and now he's learning how to build sustainably. It was a very powerful statement. So there's a lot happening at the corporate level. There's a lot happening at the municipal level. California just passed a cap-and-trade system. I mean, they didn't pass it, they implemented it. They passed it 3 years ago. They implemented it around the end of October. California is one of the top 10 economies in the world. And if California can demonstrate that they can do things, then things will happen. The Northeast has a regional greenhouse gas initiative which applies to power stations. They've already met their 2016 goal. I'll just remind you, this interview is in 2011. So they're looking for, and in the process, they raised enough money from the emissions trading they did to weatherize, in Massachusetts, I know, a very large number of homes, particularly a combination low-income homes and others, to reduce their energy consumption. So there are things happening, creative things that are happening across the country. A new program that would allow homes to borrow money at municipal rates from a town and use it to improve the energy efficiency of the house. And the payoff of that goes with the property, which means when it's sold, that basically the next person, it gets paid off because it's a I don't know, it's a 10-year loan or a 20-year loan or whatever it is. These are really creative things that are happening. And by themselves, probably not enough to get us where we need to be, but it's getting us started. We're learning by doing, and we'll get better at it over time. And I predict that once everybody is doing this, that our leaders in Washington will turn around and see the parade is going in a different direction and run around in front of it to try to lead it, and I say let them.